Hey everybody! So today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite pasta recipes. This is rigatoni with chicken, spinach, mushrooms, and garlic in this creamy tomato sauce. Now, I will tell you that I started making this, or I brought it together maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And the way that it came together was because I had a couple of extra chicken breasts in the refrigerator. I had some mushrooms that I wanted to get rid of. I had some spinach that was about to die. And I just put this all together. And I have to tell you, this has become one of my family's favorite pasta dishes. When you see how quick we can whip this up and get this on the dinner table on a weeknight, you are just going to be blown away. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to coat our pan with olive oil. And then we're going to actually cook our chicken separately. So I took 3 chicken breasts and I just trimmed them and then cut them into cubes. And I'm going to add onto these chicken breasts 1 tablespoon of lemon pepper. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook this off about 90%, and then we're going to take them out. So the chicken is about 3/4 of the way cooked, and this is when we're going to take them out. Now, the reason that I cook the chicken separately and then put it back in the sauce to finish is because we don't want dry chicken. So just going to put this in the pan, and then we'll go to the next step. So now you see we have all these delicious bits of cooking the chicken and all of the seasoning that we put on the chicken. And we're going to add 1 medium onion chopped up. And we're just going to cook this for a few minutes until it gets soft. Remember that whenever I grill onions, I always add 1 packet of Splenda. You can do that if you want, or you can add a little sugar, or you can leave it out completely. But I like the sweetness that it brings to the dish. So now the onions have gotten softer, and we're going to add in 4 cloves of chopped garlic. And we're going to let the garlic cook off for about a minute. So while the garlic is cooking, I am going to drop my pasta. I'm going to use 1 pound of rigatoni. Remember, we bring the water up to boil. We added the salt, which I already did. And then this says to cook it between 12 and 13 minutes. So I am going to check it at 11 minutes because we know it's going to get a little softer when we put it in the sauce. So the garlic has been cooking for about a minute and a half. And now we're going to add 2 cans of fire-roasted diced tomatoes. I always use garlic because you know I have an obsession with garlic. So we're going to use 2 cans, and these cans are 14.5 ounces each. And we're just going to mix that all up. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. A 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper for a little bit of heat. 1 teaspoon of garlic salt. And a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And we're just going to let this cook for a minute. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. This tomato paste is like toothpaste. When you squeeze it out, it all goes to the bottom. So again, we want 2 tablespoons, and we're just going to put that in there. And we're going to stir that in. Now, here's the secret ingredient, like our mac and cheese, that we're going to add to this. It's going to make it incredibly creamy. It's 4 ounces of cream cheese. And we are just going to stir this in. Actually, we should probably whisk it in until it gets nice and soft. So we're just going to let this cook for a couple of minutes while we're waiting for the pasta. Remember that when we make the pasta, you're going to want to reserve about 2 cups of the pasta water, so don't throw it all away. So we have about another 2 minutes left on the pasta, so we're going to finish up the sauce. So we're going to add 1/2 a cup of fresh Parmesan cheese that I just grated, and we're going to mix that in. We're going to add 2 cups of spinach, fresh spinach. This pasta dish is not only delicious, it's so pretty. And you're going to see the spinach is going to wilt all by itself. And then we're going to add 2 cups of mushrooms. And I've left them big because we're using rigatoni, and so we want everything kind of like the same size. And I kind of like mushrooms. I like to have that big bite. And then we're going to add 1/2 a cup of parsley. Now you can see how thick and creamy this is. We're going to just let it cook another minute or so, and then we're going to throw in the pasta. So the last thing I want to add back in before we add the pasta is that chicken and all the delicious juices that were in it back into the sauce. And we're just going to let that cook another minute or so, and then we're ready to add the pasta in. So now we're going to add the pasta to the sauce. And we're just going to mix it all up. Oh my gosh, I wish you could smell this. Now remember, we cooked the pasta about 1 minute less than the box indicated. There's nothing worse than soft, mushy pasta. Pasta should always be al dente. Look at this. Oh my gosh. The chicken, the spinach, the mushrooms. Oh. What we're going to do, remember I told you to save some of the pasta water just to add a little bit. And I don't know that we're going to use this all. We're just going to add a little bit at a time because we want to make sure that this is creamy. Oh, can you hear that? Oh my goodness. Maybe just a little bit more. And just a trick, I actually keep the pasta water until dinner is over, and I may throw some in for when I have leftovers so that when I cook this up again, it's going to be creamy. And there you have it. So let's get this plated up and let's taste it. So, oh my gosh, look at this. Now, I sprinkled a little bit more parsley on top just to make it pretty, but let's taste this. Look how beautiful this is. So remember, we've got rigatoni in here, we've got chicken, we've got mushrooms, we've got spinach, and we've got cream, Parmesan, no cream, I'm sorry, we have cream cheese, and we have some Parmesan cheese. And you know me, before I taste it, I'm gonna put a little more Parmesan cheese on it. And you can finish this off by putting a little bit more Parmesan cheese on the top of the pasta. So let's see what we've got. This is my favorite part, everybody. I have to tell you, besides all of those other things like the chicken and the mushrooms and everything, that garlic in the background is just delicious. The cream cheese makes it nice and smooth, the Parmesan. The chicken is tender because we cooked it and then we put it aside and put it back in. This is just delicious. Now look, again, we pulled this whole thing together in less than an hour, probably less than 45 minutes. But you have this delicious, hearty pasta dish. What actually, you could call it like a one-pot dish because everything is all together that we cooked it. And you get it on the table in such a short time. I hope you're enjoying my recipes. If you are, please follow me. I am Edie, and you've been cooking with Guy's Girl.